Thank you so very much for that warm reception. I have performed on the world stages for more than 45 years, and I always get nervous, and the worst part is waiting. And I kept saying, can I go now? Can I go now? And they said, no, not yet. And I said, can I just go? I want to go out there. I'm Denyce Graves Montgomery. Good morning. Thank you so much. I am an opera singer, as you know, by training, a teacher by calling, and a community builder by heart. It is an honor to be here with you today in this beautiful space where ideas are shared, where curiosity is alive, and people still believe in the power of learning and listening. I currently serve as the artistic advisor here at the Chautauqua Conservatory of Music, and I am delighted to be speaking around this week's theme of community building through the arts. You know, they say that it takes a village to build a community. But at Chautauqua, it takes a soprano, a theologian, 2 librarians, and someone with very strong opinions about porch furniture. I learned very quickly that it's all about the porches here, right? It isn't just, the porch isn't just where you sit, but it's also where you network, where you perform, where you debate philosophy, and where you schedule more meetings. Being at Chautauqua, however, feels like stepping outside of the noise of the world. The headlines, the breaking news alerts, the constant urgency. It has been a joy to leave all of that behind just for a little while and to return to slower rhythms where people listen to each other and remember that conversation, that beauty, and that music can be forms of resistance to fear and to division. I know that we are living in a time that feels terrifying. So many of us are afraid of what's next, afraid of being unseen, afraid of being unheard, afraid of being misunderstood, and afraid of each other. So we isolate and we protect ourselves in that fear. And we begin to forget how deeply connected we all are. And that, in my opinion, is where art comes in. I grew up surrounded in music, and that has been a gift that has saved my life and given me life over and over and over again. I am one of 3 children in my household who grew up in the church. My father was a minister, so much like the Chautauqua Lake Sunday School Assembly, I was in church 7 days a week. It was a rule that we couldn't just go to church, but we had to be involved in the church in some capacity. Everything in me grew out of that fundamental and foundational Sunday church school crucible. And I think that is amazing how God is introducing me to this environment now, at this point in my career. So my job in the church at 11 years old was the head of the bus ministry. Now, the bus ministry involved going door to door on Saturdays and speaking with parents and meeting their children and asking the parents if they wanted their children to come to Sunday school. And then I would take all of their information and meet the kids, and then on Sunday I would travel with the bus to go pick up the kids and make sure I had everybody accounted for. But one of my jobs, once I had the kids on the bus, was to entertain them while they were on the bus. And so we would sing songs. And this is where there's a little audience participation involved in this moment. There are just 4 responses. This is a call and response. This is something that I would do, one of the songs that I would sing while on the church bus. So all you have to do is sing for 4 phrases, the same phrase that I sing. Oh, you can't get to heaven in roller skates because you roll right by those pearly gates. Oh, you can't get to heaven in roller skates because you roll right by those pearly gates. You get the idea. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. So in doing that job and in meeting new kids every week, I noticed right away the importance of music and how music could be a tool for connection. Later on, as a music student, I noticed that whenever anything was important, whether it was a wedding, a funeral, a graduation, a religious service, music was center stage. Because music cuts right to our core and bypasses fear and speaks a universal language that reminds us that we all belong to each other. Whenever we gather through song, we are doing more than just making sound. We are reaching across a divide. We are choosing connection. We are choosing our shared humanity. When I was 13 years old, I heard the heart-stopping voice of Leontine Price. Oh, you've heard her too, huh? Yeah. And that moment changed my life forever and gave it a very clear direction. I knew what I wanted to do, I knew what I wanted to be, and that was to set out on a path and become Leontine Price. Well, there is only one Leontine Price. And then I went to study at a performing arts high school, and I later went to Germany to live with a German family in an exchange program. And from there, I went to Oberlin College and then to New England Conservatory. I was far away from anything resembling my childhood and meeting new and unusual people all the time. When I lived in Germany as an exchange student at that time, I spoke very little German, and my host family spoke very little English. One of the first exchanges that I had with my German host father was his sharing a recording of Florence Foster Jenkins singing opera. Now, for those of you who've not heard her sing, that's one of the most scariest, horrendous, screeching sounds that you can ever hear. But I tried to be polite, and I just smiled and nodded. And then finally, I couldn't take it anymore, and I broke out and laughing, and so did he, and I was relieved to find out that it was a joke. Florence Foster Jenkins was considered to be one of the worst singers of all time. And for those of you who don't know her, Meryl Streep portrayed her in the hilarious 2016 Paramount film titled Florence Foster Jenkins, and you can watch it tonight on Netflix. My point is that music transcended that language barrier, and it connected us. I would then go from college to a young artist program at Houston Grand Opera. One of my very first assignments was through their educational outreach programming, singing in community centers, in hospitals, in hospices, in churches, which I was very familiar with, and in schools. And I'll tell you, if you've never sung in front of kindergartners or junior high school students, that is where you learn to cut your teeth. That is a hard audience. They are brutal. And I also had assignments to sing in prisons. I never imagined that my conservatory training would prepare me for audiences of inmates. But there again, I would witness firsthand the power of music. I remember the first prison that I sang in and how scared I was. And I thought that what I was going to offer that day wouldn't be received, because when people come to concerts, they come to concerts to hear you sing. This was something very different. And I remember watching the faces as they came through the door and saying to myself, oh my goodness, I wonder what he did, I wonder what he did. And seeing some of those faces of stone as we performed begin to lighten and begin to lift. And people left smiling. And I remember saying to myself, this is something important, Denyce, this is important. We use and need music in more ways than we often realize. It is woven into the fabric of our daily lives and of our collective experiences. And what the career was showing me is that whether on stage, in classrooms, or within community circles, the work we do is not just about performance or the art as an ornament, but as an instrument for justice, for education, for connection, and for peace. Parallel to my 45-year career, I was teaching and working with young people the entire time. What struck me the deepest about this was that before we could begin to even work on the voice, we had to address the whole individual who was standing in front of us. We had to find a way to connect. Who were they? What was their makeup? And how could I create a warm and safe environment that allowed them to feel uninhibited and playful so that together we could discover and build their voices, their unique Stradivariuses, if you will. A studio that was a safe place to fail, to explore, and to grow. And voice is tricky because you can't see it and you can't touch it. There's no separation between the performer and the instrument. And that work requires you to feel deeply and to share openly, and that takes trust. So as the great mezzo-soprano, one of my great heroes, Marilyn Horne, said to me once, Denyce, only a singer can understand another singer. And I love singers, and I love singing. I always have. And in my career of portraying all sorts of characters, when I wasn't on stage, I found joy in working with these younger developing artists, sharing my knowledge and lived experience to help guide and to shape them. I'm on faculty at the Peabody Conservatory and the Juilliard School, and the students quickly became a part of me and a huge part of my life. I thought of them constantly, I dreamed about them, I spoke about them all the time, I worried about them, I cheered for their successes, and I cried with them at their heartbreaks. They were woven into my life, or I should say, our lives. My husband would often come home after a long day of operating in the OR to the sounds of scales and arpeggios in our living room. And he'd say to me, Denyce, who are all these people? And how long will they be here? And my answer was, they will be here indefinitely. They quickly became a part of me and of my family, so that when COVID hit, I was really worried about how my kids were going to make a living. Singers were considered the super spreaders, and the theaters everywhere were shut down. I began holding classes online and speaking with them about what their plans were, what was their next steps, what they were doing, and how they could find agency over their budding careers. It was in that period that I founded the Denyce Graves Foundation, or DGF, as a way to address gaps of vulnerability in the music industry and to prepare my students for a new and changing world. I felt a responsibility to these young artists and to their parents. And I wanted to offer more than just scales and arias. I wanted to prepare them to thrive in a world that is shifting fast, where artistic survival depends on adaptability, awareness, and authenticity. And so the DGF was born, which sits at the intersection of American history, social justice, and the classical vocal arts. We are dedicated to reshaping the narrative of classical music by amplifying the stories of artists who have been historically overlooked, and by investing in the next generation of vocal talent through access, education, and mentorship. We have 3 programs. Thank you. Thank you. We have 3 programs. They all have the word voices in them. Hidden Voices, which is, we have Hidden Voices, Generational Voices, and Shared Voices. Hidden Voices is a program that creates works of art that tells the stories of those overlooked artists. So that's done through opera, through poetry, through books, through documentaries, through calendars, through note cards, or just some of the ways that we tell their stories. Generational Voices is a program for more advanced singers and provides rigorous training and performance opportunities. It has shaped countless artists who contribute to the cultural fabric of communities worldwide. Our commitment to fostering talent ensures that the arts remain a vital and a dynamic force in society. We tackle subjects like career literacy, guidance on how to audition, how to network, how to build a digital presence, and navigate rejection with grace. Understanding that musical careers today are portfolio careers. Performance, teaching, composing, collaborating, and advocating. And encouragement to create their own opportunities rather than waiting to be chosen. DGF's signature program, Shared Voices, partners with conservatories and historically Black colleges and universities and cultural institutions across the country to create a more inclusive future for classical music. It centers on providing exchanges between students from both conservatories and HBCUs to further enhance the learning opportunities for both. Shared Voices amplifies the foundational music training provided by HBCUs and provides conservatory students an opportunity to learn from the rich HBCU music traditions. In addition, the program focuses on repertoire that reflects the world, not just the Western canon. We focus on conversations around inclusion, representation, and the ethics of the material that they perform. An awareness of music as community building and not just self-expression. Each program year, Shared Voices, along with administrators and faculty, facilitate student exchanges in the fall and in the spring semesters with a selected cohort of students from participating institutions. Prior to the exchange, students connect with the cohort virtually and learn about the schools and the music programs that they will be visiting and attend rehearsals and activities virtually. The goal of the program is to foster meaningful connections between consortium members, both students and administrators and faculty, that result in musical collaborations, greater awarenesses of the diversity within the classical vocal arts, and that harnesses the unique histories of both conservatories and HBCUs to create a more dynamic and diverse classical vocal arts. So, how does Chautauqua fit in? And why Chautauqua? The Chautauqua Opera Conservatory is designed to guide and empower young artists through training and vast performance opportunities in a wide array of repertoire. At the heart of both the Denyce Graves Foundation and the Chautauqua Conservatory lies a shared belief that the arts are not a luxury, but a living language of connection. Through music, storytelling, and education, we build bridges across generations, geographies, and lived experiences. At DGF, we create spaces where voices once silenced are heard, and where young artists are mentored into bold leadership, and where audiences are invited not just to observe, but to belong, whether on stage, in classrooms, or within community circles. The work that we do is not just about performance. It's about participation, presence, and purpose. In this powerful partnership, the arts become more than entertainment. They become a tool for healing, for understanding, and for transformation. By honoring the past and investing in the future, we are not only shaping the next generation of artists, we are shaping a more compassionate, inclusive, and imaginative world, and that is our ultimate goal. So today, we have two of DGF Shared Voices students who are currently Chautauqua Conservatory program artists. I'm also really happy to say that when we were doing the auditions, I never once said in the committee, oh, those are my singers, those are my singers. They were chosen for their own merit, and it speaks for themselves.
My overall experience in the intensive has been really good. I feel like we're all individually getting a lot of attention that you don't even get in conservatories. The sky is blue, the world is wide, my world is intimate.
My overall experience has been incredible. This has really opened up so much more to me than I thought was possible. I came in not knowing really what to expect, and so arriving here and learning, no, you're doing technique, you're doing language, you're doing acting, you're getting the whole package, essentially what you would get in a semester at school.
Oh experience, it's been great. It's been challenging, it's been rigorous, but it's exactly what I've been looking for.
As a young singer, sometimes it can feel like every failure, every rejection is so significant and is going to change your future. But for somebody like Miss Graves, for her to choose to give back and believe in us tells us that we are on the path.
Our unique programs will partner singers with mentors and experts in the music business to build networks that will last for generations. Introduce one of my, this woman, I love her so much. Aubrey, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. Could you tell the story of when you were 3 years old?
Yes, okay. Hello, everyone. Miss Graves over here is my teacher over at Peabody, and I had the absolute honor of meeting her for the first time, and my mom was like, wait, Denyce Graves is your teacher? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, do you remember when you were little and you watched the show Between the Lions on PBS? And there was this beautiful woman who always sang opera on there. And I was like, no. And she was like, well, you used to coo along to it every time she sang. And my grandpa was there, and he like had tears in his eyes, and I ended up telling her immediately, and we both sat and cried and talked with each other, and she was like, look how full circle this moment is. Like, you sang along with me now, and now we get to be together, and I get to help you grow in this wonderful journey. So thank you.
generation of opera stars. Their singing is powerful. These students are members of the Shared Voices program, a partnership between historically black colleges and universities, known as HBCUs, and America's top performing arts conservatories. Shared Voices is designed to train the next generation of opera singers. It's the creation of the mezzo-soprano opera legend, Denyce Graves.
Some of the most spectacular voices that have become household names have come from HBCUs, right? So we want to tap into that to find those great, great artists who have a real shot at this.
Elliot Brown, a graduate student at an HBCU in Columbia, South Carolina, now takes classes with Lauren Torrey, a student at the Juilliard School in New York. Why is this program so important?
I am a product of HBCUs to and through, but the access to resources is not the same.
To research underrepresented composers and present them and learn about them is a really important project that I'm really grateful for.
I really need you to stay engaged.
With coaching from experts at the top of the opera world, a new inclusive generation of talent is changing the face of the genre.
What our ultimate goal is to create a more compassionate world, one melody at a time, through the Shared Voices program.
A high note reflecting the diverse world we live in. Skylar Henry, CBS News, New York.
I don't know how they do that.
Keep so busy praising my Jesus. Keep so busy praising my Jesus. Keep so busy praising my Jesus. Ain't got time to die, 'cause when I'm healing the sick, I'm praising my Jesus. When I'm healing the sick, ain't got time to die, 'cause it takes all of my time to praise my Jesus, all of my time to praise my Lord. If I don't praise him, the rock's going to cry out, glory and honor, glory and honor. Ain't got time. Lord, I keep so busy working for the kingdom. Keep so busy working for the kingdom. Keep so busy working for the kingdom. Ain't got time to die, 'cause when I'm feeding the poor, I'm working for the kingdom. Yes, I'm working when I'm feeding the poor. Lord, I ain't got time, 'cause it takes all of my time to praise my Jesus, all of my time to praise my Lord. If I don't praise him, the rock's gonna cry out, glory and honor, glory and honor. Ain't got time to die. Lord, I keep so busy serving my master. Keep so busy serving my master. Keep so busy serving my master. Ain't got time to die, 'cause when I'm giving my all, I'm serving my master. When I'm giving my all, no, I ain't got time, 'cause it takes all of my time to praise my Jesus, all of my time to praise my Lord. If I don't praise him, the rock's gonna cry out, glory and honor, glory and honor. Ain't got time. Now won't you get out of my way, let me praise my Jesus. Get out of my way. If I don't praise him, the rock's gonna cry out, glory and honor, glory and honor. No, I ain't got time to die.
Come on. You cannot tell me you're not in love with them. They just... Oh, thank you so much. Shared Voices is growing and succeeding. We have a lot of momentum, and I am so proud of all of these young people. We've got about 18 in the cohort for this coming year, and they are each spectacular and unique. I believe that when heart and soul is poured in, it can then withstand the trials of time and will continue to shine into the future, and that is our goal. I'm honored to lead the DGF, an organization that will create and sustain impactful change within the classical music industry, and Chautauqua, while separate, has aligning missions. Chautauqua, an institution founded in 1874, which has long been a beacon for arts, education, and community involvement, called the most American thing in America. Within this rich tapestry, the Chautauqua Conservatory stands out as a pivotal element of nurturing artistic talent and fostering a deep appreciation for the performing arts. The Chautauqua Conservatory's legacy is one of excellence, inclusivity, and innovation. And by providing rigorous training and performance opportunities, it has shaped countless artists who contribute to the cultural fabric of communities worldwide. Its commitment to fostering talent ensures that the arts remain a vital and dynamic force in society. Along with my friend and partner, Jonathan Byer, I am proud and honored to be a living bridge between this excellence and access, tradition and innovation, legacy, and possibility. Together, we bring world-class artistic standard, rigor, and excellence, and that sets a high bar for young artists. Our personal experiences on the world's greatest stages offers students a direct line to the demands, the disciplines, and the joys of a real international career. We model how to bring the fullness of oneself to the stage, something that students urgently need in a world that asks them to compartmentalize. We offer mentorship rooted in purpose. We show singers that singing is more than performance. It is service, it is storytelling, and it is social connection. Through the work at DGF, we celebrate lifting others as we rise. We have a vision for the future that prepares students not just for roles, but for roles in the world as citizens, as collaborators, and as creators. We help to build an environment where inclusion isn't an initiative. It's embedded in the repertoire, the pedagogy, and the relationships. Your presence here at Chautauqua affirms that this is not just a conservatory, it is a community. I believe in nurturing a culture where students are encouraged to listen, to lead, and to belong, not only as musicians, but as people. My work here on the ground these past weeks has been essential. It is important to lead by relationship and not by title. Being physically present helps me make authentic connections with the faculty, the students, and the staff, and it makes it accessible and real. Being on the ground means I can see how the performances interact with the broader Chautauqua community, the audiences and other disciplines offered. Great teaching doesn't just happen in scheduled sessions, it happens while walking in Bester Square, or at the ice cream shop, or during rehearsals, or over coffee on a porch. Being present allows you to spot those moments and to offer guidance and build trust with our young artists. Jonathan and I have planned an exciting season, which I want to invite you all to. This Wednesday, July 9th, is our Common Threads concert featuring the music of Damien Jeter, and our main productions of Manuel de Falla's La Vida Breve and Mozart's Le Nozze di Figaro are not to be missed. Please do check the weekly schedule. If the world feels fractured, then let this, Chautauqua, be our rehearsal for something better. Let Chautauqua be where we remember how to listen and lift each other up, and how to create something true and beautiful. Because community doesn't just happen. It's built voice by voice, note by note, and choice by choice. And the arts, they are not a decoration. They are the blueprint. So please, keep showing up. Let's keep creating and fighting for a world where everyone has a place at the table and a verse in the song. The curtain is up. The stage is set. Let's get to work.